All these stations are so biased. I am so angry.
What's wrong, Michael?
Each news station I try to watch portrays domestic issues with too much bias.
What do you mean?
Well, they try to put a certain image on someone rather than actually supplying the information fairly and allowing the citizens to form their own opinion.
It's a little more complicated than that, Michael.
How so?
The media quite often focus on the character of the person or party rather than the actual policies. Since stories that cover negative events such as scandals, affairs, or broken promises often get more interest from the public, the media often uses these during their news coverage to increase their audience.
Why do they do that?
The media uses what is called infotainment. It is conveying hard news while at the same time entertaining the audience. No one wants to sit down and watch an hour of dry news. It has to have a little spice in it.
That makes sense. Thanks, Mom.
No problem, honey.
Yo, Alex, you got a sec?
Yeah, come on in.
Huh?
Have a seat.
I've been getting pretty flustered with the way the American media are biased towards other countries.
What do you mean?
The media always seem to favor America in foreign issues over other countries. Why is this?
We live in arguably the most powerful country in the world. The media always try to portray our country in a nationalistic perspective to ensure that citizens keep a sense of patriotism for America.
So why do they leave out some of the more drastic stories around the globe for ones that involve America?
It is the same thing. As bad as it sounds, most citizens don't care too much about other countries, and media tend to follow this nationalistic trend and favor stories involving America.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. Thanks, Alex.
No problem. Just remember to examine different sources before jumping to full conclusions.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
$1,001, $1,002, $1,003.
Am I interrupting you?
No, I just finished. I don't know if you heard me counting. I did over 1,000.
Impressive. Now do you have a minute to discuss media bias?
I mean, I guess.
Awesome. Why does it seem that news in larger cities is often favored?
Well, it is simple. Major television networks are not able to afford to station their reporters in many areas, so they choose a few upscale cities.
Which cities are most often used?
Most networks station reporters in Washington, D.C. and New York. If they can afford it, they add cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, or Houston. When events happen in other places, they fly reporters out there or just use temporary stringers.
What source does most news come from?
Good question, Michael. Most of the news is not uncovered directly by reporters, but is actually given to reporters by officials.
Couldn't this lead to bias?
Why, yes, it can. Some officials try to control what the reporters report and how they report it. This is oftentimes called spin. If the media makes the administration look good, the people will be more willing to approve of their actions.
That makes sense. I always wondered why it seemed the media portray certain issues the way they do.
Yes, be careful. Don't let your opinions form solely on the basis of spin news.
Thanks for the advice. I appreciate your time. Now get back to lifting. I'm gonna go get my dad's opinion. Dad, do you have a minute?
Yeah, what's happening?
Mom, Alex, and Eric answered a lot of my questions about media bias. I'm just wondering what your opinion is.
Well, son, it's all about agenda setting and framing.
What are those?
Good question. Agenda setting is swaying people to think certain issues are more important than others. And framing is the way the particular station or group offers the interpretation of the information.
Can't certain news stations elicit more information pertaining to a certain side or party?
Since the fairness doctrine and the equal rights provision that mandated both sides of an issue be given proper and equal recognition have since been abolished, technically yes. However, stations usually attempt to bring both sides of the issue to the proper recognition.
Where is the bias?
Each station can determine what is important and what is not. Certain issues make certain sides look better. The issue the station chooses could be considered the bias.
That makes sense. Thanks, Pops.
No problem. Now get back to work.